Federal public service unions are threatening what they're calling a summer of discontent in response to new rules that federal employees will need to work from the office at least 3 days a week, up from the current 2. The feds announced the change last week, and it's set to come into effect in September. In some places, like here in Ottawa, there's been pressure to get more workers back to the office to help boost the downtown economy. The unions say they weren't consulted, though, and are prepared to launch legal challenges. The feds say the decision is up to them. Have a listen.
All of that is within the jurisdiction of the Government of Canada, and it's executed by the departments. And I will say that a hybrid work environment is not within the collective agreements.
So what could a summer of discontent really look like? Chris Aylward is the National President of the Public Service Alliance of Canada. Hi, Mr. Aylward. Good to see you. Thank you for making the time.
My pleasure.
Help me and Canadians watching understand, one extra day in the office, is it really worth a summer of discontent? This isn't 5 days full-time in office.
No, you're right. I mean, it seems like it's just one more day, but this is not just a misstep by the Trudeau Liberal government. There was absolutely no consultation on this. They haven't yet to say what was the basis of their decision. What was the rationale for their decision? They just admitted this week, just yesterday, that they didn't do any research. They didn't participate in any surveys with the employees or anything like that. So we're left to think this decision was purely political. No consultation after promising that. So we're fed up with the broken promises of this Trudeau Liberal government. That's why we're so upset, and that's why we're saying to this government, be prepared for a summer of discontent unless you're prepared to walk this mandate back. Sit down and talk to us about it.
And I will ask you about what that summer of discontent might entail for Canadians and for the government in a moment. But can you, I guess, explain, the government's response is essentially, you may not like it, but it's our right to do this. And going from 2 to 3 days, it was our right to say 2 days, it's our right to say 3 days. It's not in the collective agreement. Don't they have a point?
When you look at it, Vashi, 4 years ago, we pivoted very quickly. We went into full remote work. Tens of millions of Canadians received Canada Emergency Relief Benefit checks. Employers received Canada Emergency Wage Subsidies. This was all that was done from remote work. Everybody knows remote work is the future of work. There is no doubt in anybody's mind. And the research demonstrates more productivity, happier employees, and better retention and recruitment issues as well. So when they say, 3 days versus 5 days and that, it's the principle of this. We went on strike last year, one of the largest strikes in Canadian history, and we achieved a letter of agreement. Absolutely right, it's not in our collective agreement, but it's a letter of agreement. The President of Treasury Board signed that agreement.
They also say in the original update to the policy that it will maximize the benefits of presence in the workplace and bring greater fairness and consistency to the application of hybrid work. I mean, I know you point out that a lot got done in remote work, but also I think back to the passport crisis, and part of the problem there was that too many people were still working from home. There weren't enough people in those passport offices. Does the government, again, not have a point?
No, I mean, when you just say there about the fairness, let's talk about the fairness. Okay, let's take a cookie-cutter approach to this. One size fits all. That's what they're saying. In this case, one size fits none, really, because this is simply not going to work. They can say we have the space, we have the space. I would ask them to look in one location and one location only. Do you have enough space in Miramichi at the National Pay Center to house all of the pay center, the compensation advisors? I don't think they do. So when they say there's enough space, sure, there's enough space for when they can cherry pick. You come in the office today, you come in the office tomorrow, you come in the office the day after that. They have enough space. But when they're saying everybody in the office 3 days a week, how is that fair? How is that equitable when they just simply come out with this unilateral, arbitrary decision like that?
But respectfully, Mr. Aylward, is it any different than what's happening 2 days a week? I mean, it's just one extra day.
It's about the fairness. It's sit down and talk to us.
Is it mostly that they didn't tell you in advance? Like, is that the gist of why?
Another broken promise by this Trudeau Liberal government. That's what we're frustrated about. That's what the members are extremely frustrated about. We're doing
even though it does adhere to the collective agreement.
It's a letter of agreement that was signed during the collective bargaining process. If they cannot honor that, well, then what's the point of them signing anything and agreeing to anything? That's our view right now. They can just sign things off and say, no, we're not going to do that. So right now, we have 63,000 members who have responded to a survey that we started just earlier this week. 63,000 of our members participated in the survey so far, 89% of them now said they're willing to take action on this.
Like go on strike over an extra day in the office?
Take action. That means send a letter to your member of parliament, send a letter to Anita Anand. We have over 40,000 letters already sent on this issue from our membership. So this is an issue for our members. And this Trudeau Liberal government better wake up really soon and get, we have federal workers totally upset. Now, I don't expect anybody to be shaking in their boots right now, but we have our FBs. We're at the bargaining table with our FBs. That's our members who work at the Canada Border Service Agency. Not all of our members at CBSA are frontline officers. A lot of them do administration work that could be easily done from home. So you're going to see some major disruptions if we can't get this figured out and other issues as well.
And I put this to you with great respect and great respect for the public servants of this country. But I've said this to you before, I think a lot of Canadians, and I hear from them, watch this and think these public servants had way more security in their jobs than I could ever dream of during the pandemic and even since. I have to go into the office 5 days a week. I don't have what they have. Why are they making such a big deal over something the rest of the country has to do already?
We're doing this, as I said, Vashi, because this is the future of work. And everybody knows that. And this government should be a leader in that. We recognize that, yes, we were very fortunate. We're in a unionized environment. Back in the 1970s, who had maternity leave? Unions fought for maternity leave, and now maternity leave is pretty much a given in most workplaces. So we're able to achieve this for our members. It's only going to benefit all workers to say, hey, we got a remote work situation here. Let's avail ourselves of that.
Just one really quick final question. Has the minister reached out? Has there been any communication since your initial response and all the unions saying that there's going to be this summer of discontent?
There's been absolutely no communication with me from Treasury Board since April 25th when I asked them directly, are you changing your policy on telework? And the answer was no.
Okay, I'll leave it on that note. Mr. Aylward, I appreciate your time as always. Thank you.
Always a pleasure.